for me to cover the Silver Grove quest. For this, you'll need to come to a relay. I'm at the strata relay on Earth. However, you will need to be further in the game than Earth to be able to get Titania. You need to have Second Dream done, I believe. So if you don't have the moon back on the map yet, you cannot do this quest. It's going to be required. Either way, once you are on a relay, you need to make a way over to the seed symbol. You can see it's over in that top corner there, so that we can speak to an NPC to start the quest. Now, I've already started the quest. In fact, I've already finished it and then restarted it. You just come over here, talk to this NPC. If it's not this one, it might be this one over this way, but I'm pretty sure it's, I think it's like Marv or Mavra, something like this. But talk to this NPC, grab the quest, and then we can return to the Orbiter. And when you get back to the Orbiter and go to the Foundry, you should see that you have the blueprint for the Nightfall Apothic. Now, the reason I've gone ahead and done this and then restarted the quest again, so we can go through this kind of piece by piece, is because some of these can only be acquired at certain times of day, and I don't want you to have to rotate the Earth times like more than you need to. So it should save you some time. Either way, the first one is going to require that you get the Moonlight Dragon Lily and the Sunlight Thresh Crone. These are time specific. That's why I said those ones first. And then the Dusklight Saracenia, the Sunrise Apothic. You can see here we need the Sunlight Jade Leaf. As you might imagine, that's a daytime plant. Frost Leaf and Western Moss. And then for the Twilight Apothic, you're going to need the Moonlight Jade Leaf, which is the opposite to the Sunlight Jade Leaf, as well as the Lunar Pitcher and the Rook's Claw. Now what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the Warframe hub. This has a rotation on it that tells you whether or not it is day or night on Earth in the top left corner of the screen as you look at it. And this is important because the naming systems here are pretty obvious. So Moonlight Dragon Lily, you can only get at nighttime. Sunlight Thresh Cone, you can only get at daytime. So my heavy recommendation is that you get this Moonlight Dragon Lily during the nighttime, and at the same time, get the Sunlight Jade Leaf. And then likewise with the Sunlight Thresh Cone, during the daytime, make sure you get the Sunlight Jade Leaf, make sure you get the Moonlight Jade Leaf at the same time as the Moonlight Dragon Lily. When it comes to finding all of these, let's go on over to the map. You will find all of the day-night specific plants on Earth during their respective time cycles. So I highly recommend using E Prime. It's mega easy, mega low level, and they spawn all over the place. Just to give you guys some like places to look then. The Moonlight Dragon Lily likes to spawn pretty much all over the place, generally on rocks and kind of like in little caves and stuff. Just keep your eyes going around. And the same goes for the Sunlight Thresh Cone. It kind of seems to like to spawn pretty much all over the place. You'll see them all over the ground. I'll be surprised if you haven't seen them already. They're just literally like littered all over the place. The Sunlight and the Moonlight Jade Leaves both look very similar, and they seem to like spawning in water of some kind. So when you're coming across like buildings and stuff like this, make sure you look in kind of in all of the ponds and all of the water that you see at the bottom of the buildings. Working our way through the rest of the ingredients that we're going to need then, the Dusklight Saracenia, which is actually going to complete the Nightfall Apothic for us, can be found on Ceres. I recommend using the Palace node. This is probably one of the tougher ones to find, in my opinion. It only likes to spawn in the bright green goopy puddles. They sometimes they seem to spare in pairs, but there seem to be very few of these actual green puddles around whenever I go through this mission. So just bear that in mind as you're going through. I got like 22 of these. I think I've probably got more of that now because I've been recording extra kind of footage, which you guys should be seeing on the screen. But yeah, just keep an eye out for the green puddles, and you should find it as you're going around. It is tougher to see than the others, because when you try using the scanner to see it, because it's already against the green, it doesn't contrast very well. The other ingredients you're going to need then is the Frost Leaf. That is best spawned on Venus, and I like to use the E-Gate mode for this. This spawns all over the cliff sides. Sometimes you get lots of cliffs, and therefore you get lots of it. Sometimes there's not so many, so just keep an eye out as you're going around. In particular, like when there's a large open expanse and there's like a drop-off somewhere, it'll generally be along the edges, so you should be able to find it pretty easily. For the Western Moss then, I like to use M Prime. Again, we're looking at low-level enemies here, and it has to be this one specifically because if you look at the tooltip as you go on there, you can see there's different types of tile sets on Mercury. And what you're looking for in the M Prime one is flat, rocky surfaces, and it's easiest to spot. Like if you use the scanner to scan through walls and stuff, it seems to be like usually very square and very obvious when you see it or when you're close to it. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but again, much like the Frost Leaf, this can be a little bit random, so sometimes you get plenty, sometimes you don't get very many at all, but just keep an eye out as you're going through, and you should be okay. That should be enough to finish the Sunrise Apothic, which leaves us with the Twilight one. So first off, we're going to want to know where to get the Rook's Claw. Best place for this, in my opinion, is going to be Hellas. It spawns all over the place in here. It's a big, massive thistle-type plant. Seems to like to spawn in rocky areas, and particularly like in places that are not roofed. So like roofed caves that don't have any holes in the top. Doesn't spawn in those kind of caves. It has to have a hole or some form of like open air feature to the built up areas that it seems to like spawning in. Our last item then, and this is why you need to have Lure unlocked, is going to be the Lunar Pitcher. And I like to use Plato for this. It's a fairly long mission, and this is probably going to be the highest level enemies you're going to face for this one. So make sure you bring something that's going to defeat enemies nice and easy. Obviously, I've used Wukong for a lot of this. It seems to like spawning around the large tree-like white-looking stems. So keep an eye out for those. That should give you an easier time. And so once you have all of the ingredients that you need for your current apothec that you need to get constructed, obviously we're going to move on with the quest at this point. All you need to do is come back into your foundry, obviously get that building. And much like the dragon keys, once that's finished, obviously I'm going to have to wait a minute here. We'll just claim this and then go and put it into our gear wheel. Okay, so with your apothec in your gear wheel, we're now going to want to head back to E Prime on Earth, where, as you can see, we are now being directed to find the shrine. Highly recommend bringing a farming frame for this. I believe the mods that the specters that we're going to face now can drop are locked out of dropping until after we've done the quest. So I'll talk about those at the end. Just in case it works here, I'm going to take along a Necros, see if we can get something to drop. And now what we need to do is we need to check all of the nooks and crannies for a little hidden pathway. Let me skip forward a bit. Okay, pretty sure this is going to be it. After playing a bit of hot and cold, usually I find it's at the end of one of these little longish looking stalk things. And it's kind of not on the map, but it's on the map at the same time. You can see how it kind of like juts out to the left just as you start coming down. Yeah, just leave it in. This is when you know you've found it. This place is actually just pretty cool. I quite like how this looks. Now, the cool thing is, this actually always spawns. This has always been here, all the way from the beginning of the game. We just didn't go looking for it. And let's go ahead and do this. Make sure your tennocreate is on. We'll be fighting against a spectre shortly. First one I think is Loki. Aha, here it is. Yeah, it's not tennocreate, so I don't think it's not going to drop the mod here. Which is a shame. Oh, it did tennocreate. Okay, so obviously we've already gone through all of the different ingredients we're going to need. We'll extract here. And then it's going to be about building the next apothec, coming back to do the same thing again for the next spectre. Don't think, like, mechanically there's anything different between the 3 different apothecs that we can use. But I will need to get this finished before I can show you guys the next phase. So I might as well go through the 3 different spectres with you anyways. So let's get to extraction. I believe at this point you should get the Titania Systems Blueprint. Okay, so next up, rinse and repeats with the Twilight Apothec. Just in case you guys need to see, Rook's Claw, Moonlight Jade Leaf, and Lunar Pitcher for this one. There it is, put into the gear wheel. And we're going back to Earth to go back to the shrine. In the Silver Grove then, where we can use our next apothec on the shrine. Those scans. Sorry, buddy. Okay, let's leave, and extracting this time should give you the Titania chassis blueprint. I feel like you'll know the drill for the 3rd time round, so we're just going to head straight back in, with this time with the Sunrise Apothec equipped in the gear wheel. Okay, so we're back in.
Give me the final apothec. I need clarity.
Okay, so obviously, as you guys will be able to see, it's now time to defend the shrine. Okay, with that done, time for us to extract.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Let's get out of here.
I am Sylvana.
And that'll finish the Silver Grove quest, and you should now have all of the parts to Titania. This final part should give you the last piece. I think we needed the neuroptics, and should give you the blueprint as well as an inbox message. Let me just have a look in the foundry for a second. We should have it all. Yes, that gives us all of Titania here, so we're all good. If you want an extra copy of this, you have to buy it from Cephalon Sumaris. But because there's a Prime variant, once you've built it, don't build another one. Should I say, don't sell it when you get the Prime version, because you will want to feed this to the ship. Now, that isn't all that we can do here. What we should now be able to do is farm those specters for some rather good mods. One in particular that I want comes from the Nightfall Apothec, which is the first one that we made. I'm going to go ahead and build one of these. And so with the Nightfall Apothec back in my gear wheel, we're going to go back to E Prime and re-find the Silver Grove Shrine. Here we are, as before, straight on the same kind of tile. And head on in, we're going to put the apothec on. Should be a little quicker this time. We shouldn't need to be dealing with all of the talking, I don't think. We anoint it. Knave is going to appear. Now, be careful here, because I believe if we attack the main one while it still has the spectres, we're going to get damage reflected onto us. So we need to be careful about which one we get. It can stun us quite badly, so just make sure you don't get kind of locked into that. I don't want to get the scar on it, though. Either way, we should find... I wanted to have the thing on. Desecrate quickly. So Desecrate can work on it. Also, yeah, we've got the twice stock. There we go. Boom. Also, things like Cora's Net and the Pilfering Swarm on Hydroid can help you get extra copies of the mod as well. So it gives us 2 rolls. Let's see what we get. Drum roll, drum roll. We didn't get the one I want. We did get the pistol amp though, which is actually kind of strong on the likes of Mesa and Titania. Obviously, Titania's guns count as pistols. Either way, that's going to be the end of the video. I'll leave it to you guys to kind of decide if you want to farm those guys for more mods. I'm going to be just farming this specific one because I really want the growing power mod. Pistol amp was a pretty good roll as well, though. I like that we got that. Either way, I hope that helps you out, and I'll see you all again soon.